Are you ready? Yeah! All right, here we go. Everybody, get on up and do your stuff. You better get up. Take the rub off the floor. We're gonna groove right here a little bit more. Do your stuff. Don't be so rough, but you got to be tough when you do your stuff.
Good morning to the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 finals day of the mixed pairs here at the Howick Bowling Club in Auckland. Absolutely perfect conditions here. The quarterfinal matches are underway. Also here, of course, this morning is the quarterfinals of the plate. So this event, of course, started 2 days ago with 96 teams lined up in qualifying around the greens of Auckland, and now down through to the quarterfinalists, which are playing this morning, 16 ends or 2.5 hours in this Ryman Healthcare event. And following the quarterfinals, of course, we will then have the semi-finals and then the final this afternoon. Throughout the match this morning, we'll be bringing you updates from the main event. There'll be updates in the main event we'll be bringing you, and we will also, at the end of this, before we go off, we will bring you the full results of the plate as well. The game we're featuring this morning is the Carlton contest between Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams, and they're playing up against Peter Shane and Karen de Jong. One end gone in this quarterfinal match, and I see that it was the James Williams combination that scored a 2. Of course, in this game, the positions change around. So here is now James Williams, the greenkeeper, in fact, at the Carlton Cornwall Bowling Club, on the draw on this beautiful greens here at Howick. Absolutely magnificent greens. As we watch the first bolt of James Williams just drop past the jack. And of course, James Williams last week with the Somerset Nationals on as the greenkeeper at Carlton Cornwall, the headquarters for the event, did an absolutely sterling job to make sure that we got through all of those matches with the adverse weather we had on finals day on Friday. So watch this bowler Peter Shane's break towards the head, the green. I haven't had it timed at this point in time, but it looks to be running a good 18 seconds. You'll see the jack is just delivered down below the 2 metre mark, and with 242, of course. The leads play 2 bowls, then they change over, and the other player plays 4 bowls, and then they go back and play the 2. So each end, of course, it changes of who's leading off and who's skipping. Now you can watch this, of course. Go to the Auckland Bowls website and just click on the link there, and it'll take you straight to all the live action where you can watch right throughout the whole day. And we encourage you to have a look, jump on board and have a look at the live action. And it's my pleasure to be able to bring you this coverage on behalf of Auckland Bowls and Ryman Healthcare. Now, just quickly as they change over, I'll tell you who the other quarter-finalists are here in the main event. We've got Jenny Stuckford and Alex Reid up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley playing Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams against Peter Shane and Karen de Jong, of course. That is the feature event which we're covering. And Angus Motu and Terry Tiroa up against Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. So all those games are underway, all playing their second end. The cloud cover is breaking up here at Howick, and near perfect conditions, no wind. So I look out in front of me now, and I look out straight out over the harbour, down towards, of course, Waiheke Island, which we can see here in the distance. So perfect conditions here as I watch Karen de Jong now on the mat. Very, very well performed Auckland player on her forehand on this 3/4 length head. The stage, it's Peter Shane bowl, appears to be shot bowl, and this bowler de Jong's, that wider arc, and they go past and get past to the centre line. So here now is Kimberly Hemingway, the very, very well performed former Waikato, now Auckland player. On her forehand, looks to be on a pretty good line as this breaks in towards the deck. Jack James Williams looking very closely at this. Skip just going to run Jack level and go by about a metre and a bit, and sits out wide of the Jack. Now Karen de Jong to play again on her forehand on this, the second end. And as I said, we will bring you updates from the main event throughout this coverage. We'll endeavour to get you at least 3 updates throughout the morning of this 16 and 2.5 hour quarterfinal at the Auckland Bowls at Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. So here again now is Kimberly Hemingway on the mat on her forehand. You can see the sun streaming down there on the green again. James Williams very looking closely at this bowls it, breaking towards the head. He's keen on this one as Williams just breaking now towards the head. How far is it going to run? It's Jack level and goes by. It would be shot though. It sits Jack level. That bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's. Karen de Jong will no doubt follow that on her forehand. De Jong now, of course, the daughter of the great Josh de Jong, formerly, of course, of Mission Bay and St Heliers. Now, Pukekohe celebrated this in 100 years of age during the year. One of the great players was Josh de Jong, gold star holder in Auckland. And everyone, talking about the days of the 60s, 70s and 80s, and everyone would know the name Josh de Jong. Because Karen, his daughter, here is Kimberly Hemingway now playing her last bowl on the second end. Definitely got this bowl out on a wider arc as it breaks towards the Jack. Coming back now towards the centre line. How far is it going to run on that centre line? Certainly on a good arc, that bowl, and that'll be a count of a sure. It falls over just outside the centre line. Peter Shane, of course, 4 times New Zealand title holder, indicating there's about a metre to that Jack line, to that centre line. So the Jong, of course, will come on her forehand. Definitely out on a wider line. I see Jenny Jones, I see the opposing next rink to them, watching this bowl. As it breaks towards the head, certainly got very, very good line. Just not going to run on that all the way to the Jack. Huge big draw out there from De Jong on that forehand side. And that, of course, highlights with the greenkeeper here, Paul Hickey, who's been the greenkeeper here at Howick for a number of years. Absolutely magnificent greens he presents. In my view, we change over to the Carlton Cornwall. Well, they're both Carlton Cornwall, of course, but the Hemingway-Williams combination. So here now is the left-hander. James Williams beyond his backhand. It's on its way on this, the second end of 16. Certainly on a tighter line to what Kimberly Hemingway was playing as I watched the bowl break towards the head. And that's going to be under the head. And it was short of weight and green. Peter Shane now, well-known player around the countryside, will play down on his forehand to this 3/4 length head. Certainly a green, just these early appearances of it, that if you don't take your green, you're certainly going to get penalised. As we watch this bowl of Peter Shane's now coming past the Karen de Jong bowl, will more than likely just have a metre of weight over the head. Doesn't make any difference. Now we'll see Williams again go onto his backhand, try and come underneath that Karen de Jong bowl, lower the Jack to draw a counter. He's chasing this bowl, in fact, up the ring. It's on a good line. In fact, it may well come around the de Jong bowl and get to the Jack. No, it's got the weight. There's a couple of metres overweight. Karen de Jong now indicating to Peter Shane, just draw on the forehand, just indicating to him that he was a couple of metres over the head, which is not hard to do on this very, very quick starweed combination surface here at the Howick Bowling Club. So you watch his second bowl of Peter Shane's on this, the second end. This is on a good line, gets to the Karen de Jong bowl, knocks the de Jong bowl into the head, rolls it into the head. and will make one of it. Just got a touch on the Karen de Jong bowl, turned it over. So now, of course, we'll have de Jong and Hemingway lead off on end 3 of this quarterfinal match of the Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. So Karen de Jong now delivering the jack. Long-time Carlton Cornwall member. Just checking I've got my scoreboard right, and I have. So it's 2-1 to Hemingway and Williams. The jack was lost by Karen de Jong, so will now be redelivered by Kimberly Hemingway. Matt, as you can see, is a good 6 feet up off from the 2 metre mark. Jack's been delivered halfway in, so it's round about a 3/4 length head. You just see it sitting under the shade of the trees. For those who haven't been to the Howick Bowling Club, it's 3 green natural surface greens, all right out in front of the clubhouse, and then 2 artificial surfaces. So a 5 green club. Very, very good membership here, and it's sort of like a reserve park area, children's playground there at the far end as it edges its way on the foreshore, just on the foreshore below the Howick Beach, and the views from up where we're sitting here, up on the mezzanine floor, looks directly out over the harbour, over the Gulf, down towards Waiheke, as we see the first bowl of Karen de Jong's. Just goes past the jack. This bowler Kimberly Hemingway's is come back to the centre line, but approximately 2 metres over the head. And of course, playing this length is what I literally term the suicide length, because you really got to get that weight right, and it's very easy and it's very difficult, of course, to judge a metre of weight on such a quick running green. But good bowl here though from Karen de Jong, breaking in towards the jack's going to sit just alongside it. In fact, there's a back toucher. Magnificent bowl by de Jong. Karen de Jong playing off the first 2 bowls. That's end 3 of this 16 end, or 2.5 hours mixed pairs event. Kimberly Hemingway, she's pulled that weight back fractionally this time. This will come back towards the centre line and will sit literally on the centre line, but approximately about a metre over their head. A very good second bowl there by Karen de Jong. And just to recap again, there's the quarterfinals here of the main event, and the quarterfinals as well of the plate. And in the main event, I can tell you that Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid of Point Chevalier are playing the composite combination of Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley of Point Chevalier playing, and again, another composite combination in Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. Kimberly Hemingway and James William of Carlton Cornwall. Peter Shane and Karen de Jong, also the Carlton Cornwall Club. And then Angus Motu and Terry Teroa of Royal Oak playing Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. So watch this bowler, Peter Shane. He doesn't want to disturb this. He had weight on there. Didn't want to disturb the shot bowl of Karen de Jong. That would have opened the draw up for the Williams combination. So here is now James Williams on his backhand, trying to reach down to that shot bowl. Kimberly Hemingway looking very closely at this bowl as it breaks towards the head. This is going to be close to getting that touch. Not quite. Great effort there from James Williams. Just sit lower the jack outside the centre line. And, of course, you can go to Auckland Bowls website. So we encourage anyone, tell your mates, friends, whatever, on this beautiful summer's day here in Auckland. Just go to the Auckland Bowls website and you can watch all the live action right throughout the day. And it will also put you in the right place to be able to get to the various links that the Auckland Bowls website made off. A lovely bowl here from Peter Shane, just breaks in lower the jack. Kimberly Hemingway suggesting to James Williams change his hand, Play down there literally with a metre of weight. Very, very hard shot to control on these quick greens. Here's Williams now on the forehand trying to reach down to the two counting bowls. Looks to be on a fairly good line, just obscured to the view at the moment. And he got a touch on the jack. Wonderful bowl there from James Williams. Got a touch on the jack. Set out to the Karen de Jong bowl. Just maybe one shot to the Karen de Jong Peter Shane combination. So Peter Shane on the draw, on the backhand. 2-1 to James Williams. And Kimberly Hemingway over Peter Shane and Karen de Jong. Here's the Shane bowl on the backhand. Just looks to be a bit on the quick side. Needs to sit on something as it goes by. James Williams now, he'll change his hand after playing that very good second bowl. He'll come down on his forehand now, endeavouring to draw to the Karen de Jong bowl. It's on its way on this, shorter length head. He's looking very, very deliberately at it. It's got to break to the centre line to the de Jong bowl or get to the jack. It's on a good line. This bowler, James Williams, is going to hold up, fall in, sits inside the Peter Shane bowl. All but the shot. Certainly creates some opportunities now for James Williams to be able to reach to what is that shot bowl. Peter Shane now quickly on the backhand with the sunglasses, the white shorts, the well-known Carlton yellow and black. And this is getting towards the jack, but with the speed of this green, that's going to disappear under the centre line. And it duly does. You'll see Kimberly Hemingway just indicating one down the combination of Hemingway and Williams. Here again is James Williams. Played a couple of very good bowls on this end now, trying to get this bowl to break all the way back to the centre line. Is it going to get back inside the bowl? No, it's not. Just going to sit outside the Karen de Jong bowl. And will come back and sits just inside one of the Peter Shane bowls. So they'll now change over and play their last two bowls. Karen de Jong and Kimberly Hemingway on this particular end will play the last two bowls of this, the third end of 16. Of course, if you're watching this and you live in the Auckland area and you want to get out to Howick this afternoon or any time today, please come out here. Plenty of parking here at Howick, and you'll see some very good bowls in this finals day of the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. Here's now Karen de Jong on the backhand, holding one shot. Just question the line, how far this is going to run towards the centre line. No, it's under the head. So Kimberly Hemingway now play on what is her backhand. Try and sit inside the Karen de Jong bowl or turn the Karen de Jong bowler over. It's on its way. Looking closely is Kimberly Hemingway. How's the weight on this? Is it's now going to be under the line? No, you'll see very quickly here with how these greens run. If you haven't got the right weight to the centre line, they'll certainly disappear very quickly away from the centre line. So here is now Karen de Jong. Definitely got a wider line with this bowl. And how far will this come back? Peter Shane looking very closely at it. Looks to be on a good line as well, this bowler de Jong's. Is it going to sit on her own or go by? And in fact, it draws the shot itself literally right alongside the jack. It can be Hemingway now 2 down with her last bowl. Can't attack much because of the front bowls inside in the front of the head. So here is Hemingway now on her backhand, definitely on the wide side. And that won't get all the way back. And that'll be a 2 to the Shane de Jong combination. Another 2 lovely bowls from Karen de Jong, who certainly drew 2 very, very adjacent to the jack. As I said, we'll get about 3 updates throughout this round of the games in the main event. The other 3 games in the main event, so I'm going to run down and get the scoreboard for those. And then at the end of this game, we'll give you the results as well of the plate. So later on, about 40 minutes or something, we'll duck around those other 3 quarterfinals and get an update on those. So Peter Shane has now delivered the jack. The mat is right back on the 2 metre mark. Peter Shane, of course, 4 times New Zealand title holder. Just waiting for the bowl on the next rink. To go by. So here is Peter Shane playing up towards the eastern end here at Howick, and Kimberley Hemingway giving this bowl a bit of a clap, but it was under the head, so it will still get a metre of running on it. Once you get under the head, you'll definitely get, at the speed of this green, you'll definitely get that metre of running. So now James Williams the Carlton Cornwall greenkeeper. Watch this bowl now as it breaks towards the head just past Kimberley Hemingway, and you'll see what happens if you excuse me, if you don't have your green right on this surface. You'll just, with the pace of the green, you just disappear under the line quickly. And I see now, looking down below me, there is a bit of a breeze out there, and that small bit of breeze on the top of the green, and with the speed of this green this morning, if you're not on the centre line, you'll certainly disappear very quickly under the head. You see the second bowler, Peter Shane's, come back to the centre line. It's about a metre over the head. Here's now Williams on the backhand, playing his second bowl. They'll change over now. And Karen de Jong and Kimberley Hemingway will play their 4 bowls. Taking a good look at this bowl as it breaks towards the head is Kimberley Hemingway. There's a good bowl from James Williams, going to get right back to the centre line, sits in behind it, just slides over the centre line, but about 2 feet behind the jack. Very good bowl by the, in this end, the Carlton Cornwall lead. And of course, don't forget, you can watch all this live action. Just go to the Auckland Bowls website, click on there, and you can watch the Ryman Healthcare mixed pairs right throughout the day. You can watch the coverage. So here is Karen de Jong now playing on her backhand. First time she's played a backhand coming up to this eastern end, western end, sorry. And looks as though it's going to come back towards the centre line, but way short of weight. And of course, with the clubhouse right alongside that, there's maybe a wee bit of shelter there as well from the clubhouse. Here is now Hemingway, Kimberley Hemingway, on her forehand with Williams and Hemingway holding the shot. And this bowl's definitely going to be under the centre line. You'll see that bowl disappear outside the centre line. And it's about a metre lower the jack. And logic will tell you here for Karen de Jong at the forehand to me certainly looks the best option. 2 bowls there to get tangled up on that backhand side, and Peter Shane indicating a similar thought. Forehand side of the rink open. So de Jong with the peak on the white peak cap, sun hat. Well, good bowl here from Karen de Jong. Is it going to get under the centre line? Is going to get the jack and got a touch on the jack and moved it. In fact, it literally sit right on top of the Williams bowl. Very good bowl though from Karen de Jong. Certainly been impressive in the 3 ends to date as we play end 4 of 16. Here is Kimberley Hemingway now. Got a very good arc on the bowl here. Is just slowly comes back to the centre line. That's what you want it doing. You want it coming back slowly. You don't want it racing back, because if it's racing back, it's either going to be too heavy or nip away under the line. Karen de Jong again now on her forehand, trying to draw inside the Kimberley Hemingway bowl. Looks as though it's going to be on the wide side with this the third bowl. On this the 4th. And I just heard James Williams indicating to Kimberly Hemingway that the weight on her second bowl on that forehand side was pretty good. So just bring that line in a fraction, try and hold that same weight. So here is this Hemingway bowl. Looks in fact to be on that arcing line, but looks to be on a wider line. Needs to come a long way back, and we'll get back and sit inside the two back bowls that are held by the Shane combination. So Karen de Jong now with her last bowl on this, the fourth end. She'll continue on that forehand. Of course, thank you to Ryman, the major sponsor of this event for Auckland Bowls. Looking for the jack is Karen de Jong, and she's got it again, and she'll kill that. That'll be a kill that in from Karen de Jong. Very, very hard shot to play. And just indicating what they want to do, whether they want to carry the bowls up or play it from the same end. Looks as though they're going to take the bowls back up to the eastern end, this is the western end of the clubhouse here. And they'll play down towards the eastern end, the Maraita end of the Howick Club. Very hard shot to play, those running shots or weighted shots on this very fast running green.
He will be a great ball.
So Peter Shane now delivering the jack on the replay of the fourth end, the fourth of 16 or 2.5 hours in this quarterfinal of the Ryman Healthcare Auckland Bowls 242 mixed pairs, of which play got underway on Friday. 96 combinations got underway around the greens of Auckland, and we had 32 it was made their way through to post-section play, and then further round robin yesterday of those qualifiers, 8 sections. And the 8 section winners, of course, are all out here this morning playing in this quarterfinal. So here is the first bowler, James Williams, back to the centre line, but 1.5 metres over the head. Peter Shane now on his backhand, with Shane and de Jong after 3 ends, leading by 3 shots to 2. And we're now playing the replay of that fourth end, and Peter Shane gets back to the centre line, about 1 metre over the head, and James Williams following the Peter Shane bowl. And this is on a good line, this bowl of James Williams. How far is this going to get back to the centre line now? Creeps its way towards the centre line and sits literally just inside that centre line. Good bowl from James Williams. That's definitely the shot as they change over. And now Karen de Jong and Kimberly Hemingway will play their 4 bowls in the middle of this head. Perfect conditions here at the Howick Bowling Club. Of course, this club was, of course, the brainchild of the late Trevor King and Sir Barry Curtis, this redevelopment of the Howick Bowling Club in conjunction, and those when it was the Manukau City Council, and developed this fantastic complex here. And Karen de Jong all but draws the shot with her first bowl, and of course was the headquarters here for the Nationals a number of years back, and certainly has got a great, as I say, 3 natural surface greens, 2 carpet or artificial surface greens, great viewing, lovely clubhouse, and a great membership here at Howick. And anyone in the Howick area or anywhere who's thinking in the Auckland area, you want to have a look at a good bowling club and join the club where there's a mixture of competitive, social bowls, all sorts of, the whole variety of bowls, then the Howick Bowling Club here certainly offers all of those to to any members. Of course, it's got a great big lounge here as well on the top floor, and is ideal for corporate events, conferences, wedding, business events, all sorts of things, and lends itself to multi-use facility here, just down the road from the Howick Shopping Centre, and just of course close to the foreshore of Howick Beach. Again, another good bowl from Karen de Jong, just draws him behind the head. So it's the Hemingway combination, hold the shot, but with De Jong and Shane definitely having the second and third shots very close by, so imperative Hemingway and Williams get another bowl on the head. You watch this bowl now, doesn't want to get the back of the jack, and Hemingway unlucky there, got the back of the jack there, just moved the jack out, may well have given the shot away. Peter Shane indicating play inside his bowl to see the Shane bowl, just lower the head, just try and play underneath that bowl. Karen de Jong has certainly been the star of the show so far as we play replay of the fourth end, and looks as though the De Jong bowl is just go by about a metre. So Kimberly Hemingway now on her forehand, endeavouring to get down underneath that Karen de Jong bowl and draw the shot. It's on a good arc to get back to the centre line. James Williams is very keen on this as it comes down towards the head. Has the weight? No, hasn't got the weight to get all the way down there. So Peter Shane giving instructions to Karen de Jong and endeavouring to get Karen de Jong on the draw to play slightly across the head and try and sit on the James Williams bowl, which is the second bowl in that row of three that you can see there. So here is Karen de Jong with the peak and breaking towards that centre line. In fact, got their own bowl, and I'm not sure what difference that will make. It couldn't fit one down, I think was the call to James Williams. The side bowl of Peter Shane's, I think, was the shot. So here's now Kimberly Hemingway with her last bowl on this, the replay of the fourth end, endeavouring to get under those bowls to get round. She might get around cleanly and draw the shot. If he gets past that bowl, that'll just about make shot. Down, looking at the head, are the three of the four players, and looking on our monitor, and we can't always rely on the monitor being 100% correct because of the angles that the cameras are at, but that last bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's certainly looks like the shot. So Peter Shane now going back to the mat on this replay of the fourth end. And of course, thanks to my colleague Tamara sitting alongside me, who does all the work, putting all this together. She was here, in fact, all day yesterday, putting cameras in place and monitors and sound equipment. Does a wonderful job to bring bowls around the country live on various media, social media platforms. As we watch this bowler, Peter Shane, just going to go by the jack, but good enough for shot. Sits by it. So is James Williams now going to follow that bowl. That's the call there. I just heard that call there through the mic, that saying to James Williams, play the same shot as what Peter Shane did on what is his forehand. Endeavouring to get down and sit on the bowl. Just looks to be slightly on that wide side. Is it going to get to the bowl? Got to the jack, got to... And in fact, it goes to a Karen de Jong bowl, sitting just in behind the head. So I can tell you I'll just quickly work out which are the main event ones in this, which is Mike's kindly gone away and got the updates for us. So, James Williams on the search here, trying to get down to the Karen de Jong bowl. Got the Karen de Jong bowl, moved it right out to the side. And it looks like James Williams' bowl sitting out to the side. And they've taken one out. I think it would just be the one. Magnificent bowl there from James Williams. I'll just wait to confirm that when the scoreboard changes. It looked like the one to me. Got that touch on the jack. Moved it across the head. I'm sure it's just the one. I'll just confirm when that scoreboard changes. Peter Shane just going to change the board now. So that's 4 ends completed. And Kimberly Hemingway delivering the jack. This will be right down to the 2 metre mark. Well, that didn't really help, thanks, Peter. He chalked the board, but he didn't turn the numbers over. So I'm working on the premise that it is 3-all after 4 ends. And I can tell you just quickly in those other main event matches, it is Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills who are leading Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid 3-2. 3-2 after 6 ends. It is Colin Williams and Tessa Farley leading Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen by 8-1 after 5 ends. And in the Nick Bell, Jenny Jones up against Angus Motu and Tio Terua, it is Tio Terua who leads 4-2. 4-2 in that match. And of course, we'll keep you up to date. 3-all. 3-all after 4 completed ends of the Kimberly Hemingway match. That's Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams up against Karen de Jong and Peter Shane. Of course, both of these sides out of the Carlton Cornwall Club, and once again Karen de Jong has opened up this very good bowl, just sitting low the jack, behind the jack. In fact, just fell over and sits just a few centimetres behind. So here now is de Jong trying to emulate that first bowl. The 2 bowls of Kimberly Hemingway's, one is virtually sitting jack level and the other jack high, only by about a metre though behind the jack. Another good bowl from Karen de Jong right back to the centre line and sits half a metre behind the jack. Certainly Karen de Jong to date, after 4 ends of 16, has been outstanding in this quarterfinal. So Andy Ellis is leading. Andy Ellis and Laura Mills leading Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley leading Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. And Angus Motu and Tio Terua are leading Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. And we'll update you again halfway through on these quarterfinals. We'll go around the boards. And here's James Williams now trying to get to the Karen de Jong bowl and shot and gets the jack cleanly, sits right alongside it. Just moved the jack off the centre line. May still be one down to the Karen de Jong bowl, sitting just out from the jack, out from the head, just off the centre line. And don't forget, you can watch all of this live action on the Auckland Bowls website right throughout the day. Just go into the Auckland Bowls website and I'll give you a link straight away to just click on And you can watch and listen to all the live action here at the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. And of course, it's throughout the summer. We'll be bringing you more of the Auckland Bowls events throughout the summer of their various championship events and other major events. We'll be bringing those Auckland Bowls events to you, and of course a number of other events throughout the year around the country that we'll also be bringing in as we watch James Williams trying to reach what is the shot bowler Karen de Jong's turned the bowl over once, just had good weight for it, just slipped under the head. Now Peter Shane on his forehand, sunglasses and the white cap, tip back. Breaking down towards the head now. Looks as though just going to sit on the Karen de Jong bowl and will. And that's good and bad really, because it really does open up that opportunity. Two bowls sit there with weight on that forehand side for James Williams to get a split on the bowl. And of course, the bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's is the back bowl about a metre behind the head as we watch this bowl. We're trying to get down to it now. Is it going to be under the line? Needs to make contact on the inside, not the outside. Just goes by. You can see there on your screen. The idea is the ready bowl of Peter Shane's and the Karen de Jong bowl alongside it. Endeavouring to get contact on the inside of the bowls to get to the jack. And I see Ross Dallimore sitting here, one of the great followers of the live bowls. He sat for about 6 or 7 days at Carlton watching all the actions throughout the Somerset Nationals, giving me some advice as well. And here he is again today, watching the finals here of the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. Williams just got to improve that line fractionally, or actually give it more weight. In fact, he's gone out on the wider side, but this won't all be bad if it gets by the head and gets back towards the 2 metre mark. It might be too quick and go in the ditch. Yes, it did. And I can tell you, looking over the head from right upstairs where we are here, it was 1, 2, 3 bowls all just within inches of the jack. So very, very good head on this full length head. As Peter Shane's playing his last bowl, breaking in towards the head. It's on a good line as well. This bowl trying to get under that of the Karen de Jong bowl. In fact, sits inside, falls out. Not if it fell in, would definitely be a counter. Fell out, it's 2. Of course, Peter Shane now has got the advantage of the very back bowl, right down towards the ditch board, which you can see there, the very, very backest bowl. So indicating to Kimberly Hemingway, change your hand. Just watch with interest. Bit of gamemanship down on the head there. Whether the bowl was sitting up or sitting down. So here is now Kimberly Hemingway endeavouring to reach what is the 2 counting bowls. Certainly got a good weight to get that shot. In fact, just goes by though with on the wide side. I don't think Karen de Jong will want to. So indicating to Karen de Jong, play on your forehand, draw another one, don't worry about it, they've got to hit it, which is the right attitude. Not easy shots on these fast running greens. Holding 2 shots. And this will be a good bowler. Karen de Jong's just going to slip by and will sit over the head. So James Williams just indicating perhaps a wee bit too much weight there from Kimberly Hemingway, but she's certainly got to play with weight which is going to reach. So here's the second and last bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's on this, on N5 of 16. This bowl's on a tighter line. James Williams is keen on this as this breaks towards the head. Is it going to get the split on both? Got the split on one, falls over behind the jack, and most likely made shot of it. It did. Peter Shane just indicating one down. Magnificent bowl by the young Carlton player there, just played with that controlled weight. Peter Shane, Karen de Jong. You just reach that bowl, whatever hand you want to. So on the backhand is Karen de Jong. Playing with weight, trying to reach up to that. What is the shot bowl? Looks on a good long, this bowler, Karen de Jong, to get a flick off the front bowl. Gets the jack. Killed again. It's another replayed end, that'll be. So now we'll have the 15. I'm sure it's gone out. It had. So we'll now have a replay of the 15. And remembering, of course, it is 16 ends, or 2.5 hours. So can't keep killing all day because you're going to run out of ends as well against the time clock. A wonderful bowl there from Kimberly Hemingway, and equally again from Karen de Jong, equally good bowl. So jack's been delivered down to the 2 metre mark. So Kimberly Hemingway, young 20-year-old, of course played age group bowls for New Zealand. This looks as though on this backhand side it's going to disappear off that centre line. Had good weight, sits jack level, just missed that line. Karen de Jong, who's been outstanding so far in this game, and certainly got the bob on that wider line. Hemingway now with her second bowl. Breaking towards the jack, needs to get under this de Jong bowl. Does do, but doesn't quite have the weight to get all the way to the jack. Holding one will be Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams definitely holding the shot. On this, the replay of the 15. So Peter Shane indicating there's a good metre. The jack, of course, is right back on the 2 metre mark. You'll see that breeze that has got up. You'll see that the shrubbery in behind the green there just blowing around a wee bit. As we watch this second bowl of Karen de Jong's get down towards the jack, and again de Jong draws the shot slightly lower the jack, but very, very good weight. And you'll see it sitting there, about 18 inches lower the jack, definitely the shot. And outstanding so far has been Karen de Jong. And those other quarterfinals, Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. In the early stages, it is Ellis and Mills that are leading. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley up against Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. And again, in the early stages, I can tell you that it is Williams and Farley that are leading. Angus Moto and Terry Terra up against Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. And again, in the early stages, it is Moto and Angus Moto and Tio Terua who are leading, as we see. Bob James Williams, great weight, but just under green slightly. So here's the first bowl of Peter Shane's. This is the first of 4 on this, the 15. And this should go all the way through. The jack just got a touch on the jack, but didn't move it off the centre line. Was really narrow. Bit fortuitous to get a touch on the jack. Here now is Williams with that scoopy delivery on the forehand. Looks to have better line with this bowl. Just question where the weight's going. Might have a bit too much weight. And Kimberly Hemingway endeavouring to coax it and comes back towards the centre line, so it's certainly right on line to where it needed to be. So Peter Shane, 4 times New Zealand title holder. The pairs and singles looks to be under that centre line. That I would just about literally call a narrower sort of a line you'd play on about a 14, 15 second green. You can pay the price for going under the line, as we said earlier, on these quicker greens. And here now is James Williams with his third bowl. Needs to get all the way back to the centre line. Needs to get round the bowls. In fact, more than likely was a slightly over green and a metre too much weight. Peter Shane now with the sunglasses on, endeavouring to just improve that line fractionally, because if you can get a touch on the jack, it's all advantageous to the Shane side. And again, it's on that same narrower line, and in fact would most likely it will count, in fact, where it sat on his own bowl. So that Carlton's combination of Shane and De Jong are controlling this head at this point in time. Could in fact be holding 3. As we watch this bowler, James Williams, can he get this bowler? Been urged on this bowler, and a front toucher, in fact, from the greenkeeper from Carlton. And James Williams got a front toucher, was definitely a few down on the head. And of course now got the advantage of the back bowl that's sitting right. You can see there by Karen De Jong's feet. So if the jack moves back directly, of course, they've got that advantage, and a bowl out to the right. The 4 Peter Shane bowls, of course, are all, well, 3 of them anyway, are all literally low of the jack and to the side of their head. And this definitely looks to be under the centre line. And he must be careful with the weight he plays here, because he can tip onto the what is the shot bowl, the toucher bowl, and move it directly back. The toucher would go back as well. And in fact, they would be holding 3 shots with the Williams and Hemingway combination. So well played by James Williams as they change over now to play their last 2 bowls on this, the replay of the 5th end. Remember, we had a replay of the 4th end after it was killed, and a replay again of the 5th end after that end was killed as well. So here now is Kimberly Hemingway making her way to the mat in the well-known yellow and black Carlton attire. Of course, very similar to the Victoria Club in Wellington. And here is now in the backhand is Hemingway. On a good line is this bowl. This looks a good arc of the bowl. It's going to get underneath her own bowl. Needs to get underneath it and get down towards the head. Is just going to feather the side bowl, but unlucky really. Would have been past that centre line, I would say, but hadn't got that touch. Now Karen De Jong changing her hand. Going to try down and reach to play on top of the shot bowl. One's got to be careful here with the weight that they use with the contact. The jack could just go immediately back to where there is counting. Have to wait and see what happens here. Makes contact with their own front bowls, but not to the actual shot bowl itself. So Kimberly Hemingway, I wonder whether they might be thinking, should we play that shot ourselves? And it's interesting, yes, change of hand here from instruction to James Williams to Kimberly Hemingway, indicating if you get to our shot bowl, turn it over once. That'll go immediately back onto the jack, which will move back to where they have 2 counting bowls, and of course the toucher would go back with it. And looks to be on the wide side, breaking its way back towards the head now, but doesn't have the weight to get there. And as I said earlier comment, one needs to be careful how we play that shot. I know Peter Shane, one of the players who likes playing the old dally slide shots. The problem is if you're slightly off target here, he could go 1 down to 3 down, the flick of an eye. So here is the Karen de Jong bowl. Too much weight and the jack will go directly back. In fact, is going to run into what is their own bowl on the outside, push it out and do no damage, and it will be 1 to Kimberley Hemingway and James Williams. They now lead 4-3 after the completion of 5 ends of 16 or 2.5 hours in this quarter-final of the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs here at the Howick Bowling Club, the picturesque Howick Bowling Club here in Auckland. And of course you can watch all this live action. You go to the Auckland Bowls website and it will take you immediately to one of the links. It will just go onto the website and it'll take you straight to the bowls and you can watch the live action. 4-3 to Kimberley Hemingway and James Williams after 5 of 16 ends, in this quarter-final clash, as we see the James Williams bowl get a touch on the jack and just slides by slightly. Peter Shane quickly into his work. You watch this bowl, just be nice if Kimberley Hemingway could just move a wee bit. We'd just be able to see that line to the jack. So, James Williams, that one is forehand, playing up towards the western end here at Howick. The Pakuranga end looks to be under the line with weight and green and will be. So Peter Shane bowls Peter Shane's first bowl was good, 2 metres short really, and Kieran de Jong indicating to Peter Shane you can come around those quite easily, but Shane electing to go to the backhand. And again, this is the first time I've seen him play this backhand coming up this way, especially to date in this game, and that looks as though it's going to be under the centre line. And it is, and that's going to disappear outside the centre line and across the head and won't have any effect at all. And it will be the Hemingway-Williams combination holding 2 when they change over for their 4 bowls to be played, but a lot of room, good 1.5 metres around the head. So Kimberley Hemingway, formerly the Waikato, now playing out of the Carlton Cornwall Club. Play down on her backhand in the black cap. Playing up towards the western end here at Howick. On a good line. How's the weight? Looks to have a bit of running in it as it goes by, and it does goes by a good couple of metres. So now Karen de Jong will follow that backhand line. Certainly been the most consistent draw player of the 4 players at present. Out on that wider side. Now breaking back towards the head in the centre line. Just needs to get under this bowl, and Will gets under and draws it again. Does Karen de Jong, sits virtually jack level. And that big arc which she gets in her bowl. Draws the shot. Kimberley Hemingway, her second of 4 on this, the 16 of 16 on the backhand. This is on a good line, this bowl. How's the weight? How long is it going to hold up? Needs to sit on the De Jong bowl, sits on it, rolls it, one roll backwards, but would still leave Karen de Jong holding the shot, I would say. Peter Shane having a look. And the word from Peter Shane is, might still have 1. Here now is Karen de Jong. Gives it that little flick on her backhand, but it works. Again, I think this bowl will come, after we watch her previous bowls, would come under the centre line, and it does. Certainly a bigger arc. It falls over at the front of the head and certainly would be 3rd shot. So here is Kimberly Hemingway now playing her third bowl. Playing towards the western end here at the Howard Club. Needs to get under these bowls. It's not. It's going to go by. In fact, go down towards and put the 2 metre mark. Perfect day here in Auckland for this finals day of the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs. On the backhand again is Karen de Jong. Peter Shane indicated it's a measure for shot. De Jong out there again on that very wide side, parallel to the clubhouse, but does get a big draw in her bowls, but not going to get all the way back this time. So the target for Kimberly Hemingway is to draw on the backhand just to get the line inside those 2 jack level bowls. How far is this going to come back with the weight? Certainly it's on a good line. There's this bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's as it breaks towards the head now. Is it going to get all the way to the jack? Not quite. Peter Shane having a good look. Still undecided who's got shot. And as I said, very difficult on the monitors to endeavour to judge the shot. And out of the hand, this bowl looked narrow from Karen de Jong. Just the way how that was delivered out of the hand. And is going to sit on the Williams bowl. And in fact, comes in for shot. Sat off the back of the bowl and shot. Well played by Karen de Jong. She's certainly out of her hand. Didn't like it because certainly was on that narrower line. And definitely won, and a measure for all round for who's got 2. Hemingway and Williams leading 4-3 after 5 ends. So we'll see on the forehand. James Williams, the greenkeeper of Carlton Cornwall, he'd endeavour to reach up to that bowl on the forehand. Very, very animated player is James Williams. Looks to be on the line. Is it on the line to the jack or slightly under it? Certainly playing with weight to get a good result. And just slips by, perhaps with the 2 bowls of Kimberly Hemingway's in behind the head, could afford to play that quicker on that narrower line up to the, on his forehand, up to the shot bowl. Certainly got 2 bowls of Kimberly Hemingway sitting deep on the green there. As you can see them down just past the 2 metre mark. And Peter Shane may well draw another shot here if he gets past this bowl. He does. Well, now James Williams got no option, but he needs to attack that with more weight. Can't afford to play that narrower line. It's a great bowl by Shane. The danger of playing with that in-between weight is you won't hold up to the centre line. Here's this bowler, James Williams. He's watching this one closely as it breaks down towards the, get to the jack. The shot bowl gets the jack, takes it back to right where we said those 2 bowls that Kimberly Hemingway's was sitting. That was a waiting shot to play for sure. And of course, it sits right on one of those Kimberly Hemingway bowls. And looks like 3 shots at this stage. Peter Shane, surely his objective here is to try and get second shot. Jack's been moved. A lot harder to play after the jack's been moved out on those new sides of the rink. Needs to get inside. This bowl does do so. He got just inside, falls out. May leave 2 shots possibly. Have a look. Looks like 2 on the monitor. We'll just wait and see what the players decide. And it is. So that was 2 shots to Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams after that superb press shot that he played to the jack and moved the jack back to the 2 Kimberly Hemingway bowls, which we mentioned early on, was sitting back just past the 2 metre mark. So you can see the mat's been just placed just slightly out in front of the 2 metre mark, but the jack's going to be delivered right down to the 2 metre mark, and it will sit on the 2 metre mark. And Kimberly Hemingway will play her first bowl on this, the 7th of 16 ends, or 2.5 hours, and we've been going just over the hour mark now. We've been going an hour and 10 minutes. So they've got Bit of time left to get to those 16 ends. As we watch this first bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's just going to pull up under the line slightly, but pretty adjacent though. Karen de Jong, who's been very commanding with her bowls, play off the backhand. Those other quarterfinals, Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid playing Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. The last count was Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills leading. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley up against Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. And it was Williams and Farley that was leading. Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams up against Peter Shane and Karen de Jong. We know that's 6-3 at this stage after 6 ends to the Hemingway and Williams combination. Angus Motu and Tio Teroa playing Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. And at our last around the green, it was the Motu Teroa combination that were leading by 4 shots to 2. So Karen de Jong now will play her second bowl on this, the 7th end. Beautiful day here in Auckland for this finals day, and we enjoy this coverage. And of course a big thanks to Tamara, as I said earlier, and to Mike Nata and Steve Clifton, who are also here on doing a great job today on the cameras and other bits and pieces which we need to be able to bring this live coverage to you. Just go to the Auckland Bowls website and you'll certainly be able to see all of the live coverage, bowl by bowl action right throughout the day. Quarterfinals, semi-final and finals. Now look down, right down the far, the third green here at Carlton, Cornwall. And some of the members I can see down there this morning. So look out towards Waiheke, having a roll-up, summer morning roll-up on what was known as the ladies' green here at Howick. And of course, years ago, a long time ago, it used to be a croquet club here as well. And that's now moved. As I see now, Peter Shane, very scattered this head so far. Peter Shane playing his first end bowl on this, the 7th end. This looks to be a good bowl of Shane's. This will be the shot. So it just breaks down towards the centre line now, sits just lower the jack. That'll certainly be the shot. Kimberly Hemingway holding second shot. James Williams will follow down now on his forehand after playing that magnificent bowl on that, the 16, turning that two shots down on the head and changing it to a 2-end result in favour of them. And now trying to get the jack again. He does James Williams. Just moves the jack back slightly. And a side toucher. Well played by the skip. So Peter Shane asking the question about how far away is that from what was his bowl? How much more weight, in other words, does he need to get to what is the James Williams shot bowl? Shane looking closely at this bowl as it breaks down towards the head with a wee bit more weight, and is going to run into his own bowl, turn it over a couple of times. And now we'll see James Williams again playing his third bowl and going to his backhand, trying to draw to the Karen de Jong bowl, draw inside that. And that would give him a second shot. How's the weight? Looks as though it's going to die on weight and green, and does, and will pull up. And of course, it is difficult. And Peter Shane obviously looking, wants to try and attack that bowl. Whether he can see a run down on that backhand side, down in between the Kimberly Hemingway. That's the way it looks to be playing, shaping on the mat, playing down inside the Kimberly Hemingway bowl and his own bowl to get to what is the shot bowl, and is going to be narrow and just runs off some other bowls. And now, of course, has to be really careful. Does Shane? We've still got 2 bowls on the head, one lower the jack, which is his own, and the Karen de Jong bowl sitting out to the side, which in fact would be third shot. So here now is James Williams again on his backhand. Just needs another metre of weight from his last bowl. Has he done that? Don't think so. Only advice I'd say to him, once you start playing the ditch hand, always need a metre more, just a metre more of more weight on that ditch hand. So Peter Shane now has to revert to the draw. One down on the head, trailing 6-3 after 6 of 15 ends, and it is the Hemingway-Williams combination who's holding the shot. Going for the draw. Here's Peter Shane. He's just going to run into those very front bowls, which are 2 metres out. And really all that does with that bowl really cuts more than likely that backhand line off on the draw. You can see those 3 bowls in the line through there as they play down towards the eastern end here at Howick, the Maraito end. And they'll play 2 more bowls each, will Kimberly Hemingway and Karen de Jong, to bring to a conclusion this 7th end of 16. So it's on its way is the Hemingway bowl, and needs to draw through her own bowl, endeavouring to do so. But in fact, all it's going to do is just sit outside the 2 metre line, and would in fact more than likely be 4th shot. Really, no consequence in the head. Peter Shane now saying to Karen de Jong, try and draw down through there. In other words, following the Kimberly Hemingway bowl. So on the forehand will be Karen de Jong, endeavouring to get down to that Kimberly Hemingway bowl with weight. She's trying to get to it. Got nothing. That was more than likely the weight to play rather than sort of half in between weight. Going directly at the bowl, certainly a better option as we come to the back end of the 7th end of 15. And here now is Kimberly Hemingway trying to get down to the Karen de Jong bowl. It's a good attempt here from Hemingway, trying to break inside the line here. And if he gets inside this line, it'll make another shot. And it would do. So even if de Jong will now play that same weight again, just cut the line a wee bit. De Jong will be trying to get the jack with the bowl on the drive, on the forehand, on its way. Is the de Jong bowl trying to get to the jack? Looks as though it's going to go across the front. Needs a bit of luck, gets nothing. And I'm picking, it will be 2. It is 2. See the hand James Williams just indicating there. 8-3 now to James Hemingway and Kimberly Hemingway after 7 of 16 ends. So we're now at the halfway mark, playing the 8th end, and it is Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams who are leading by 8 shots to 3 over Karen de Jong and Peter Shane in this quarterfinal. Steve Clifton's just ducked out, and he's going to get for me the updates throughout of the other 3 quarterfinal matches. And don't forget, of course, at the completion of this round, we will give you the results of the plate, which is also being played out here as well. That's the quarterfinals of the plate. Good bowl here from Peter Shane. He gets a feather on the jack, just sits in the shot bowl. Might still be the shot to James Williams. Got a touch on the jack, moved it across sideways. And we've certainly seen some big conversion bowls being played by Kimberley Hemingway and James Williams. And it has certainly assisted greatly in them pushing that lead out 2-8-3 after 7 of the 16 ends. So here now is Kimberley Hemingway. And I can tell you through the semi-final and finals, I'll have other people here in the commentary position with me throughout the morning or the afternoon as I watch Hemingway now play her first bowl on this, the 8th end. It breaks towards the jack. Is it going to touch the jack cleanly? It does, and moves it around the corner. Sits right on top of it. And in fact, it'll be 2 shots. Well played by the young Auckland player, or formerly a Caddo player. So Karen De Jong now quickly into her work, playing her first of her first 4 bowls. And we've seen a 1, a 1, a 2 and a 2 being scored by the Hemingway-Williams combination over the last 4 ends. And it has certainly assisted them greatly to just get this little buffer. As we see again, Kimberley Hemingway now on the backhand again. How far is this coming back towards the centre line with weight? Hasn't got the same weight with this bowl. Needs to sit inside to count, and will in fact sits on to the James Williams bowl and will count. So call from Peter Shane to Karen De Jong. Try and get up to the shot bowl. And what's happened with that bowl? Well, it's gone, more than likely go way past Karen De Jong Express as soon as it was out of her hand. It had very good weight. Very, very good weight. And it's still moving back towards the centre line, but at the point of delivery she knew that. She got that one out too much on the wide side. So this is turned into a big head now for the Hemingway-Williams combination. They'd certainly like to build on this. We know Peter Shane, he'll certainly be endeavouring to play with forcing weight up through the head. Doesn't want to move the jack, does Kimberley Hemingway, and open this head up. In fact, goes by the head and would be a back bowl, which I'd be happy with that as the sun pours down here at the Howick Bowling Club. So Karen De Jong now just trying to make amends after she knew with her second bowl, forced it too far out on that wide side. Peter Shane looking at this bolt, breaking towards the centre line. What's it going to run into? And might have cut one out. Sitting literally jack level. I think it's still 2 shots to the Williams-Hemingway combination as we watch now Kimberley Hemingway play again. Down on that forehand after playing that great shot with the first bowl that moved the jack around the corner. And I can update you now on those other matches. So the game with Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. After 6 ends, I can tell you now it's Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford that lead by 9 shots to 3 after 9 ends. 9-3 Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford leading over Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley up against Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. And I can tell you that it is Williams that is leading by 17-4. 17-4 after 8 ends. And in the Nick Bell Tio Tarua game, 6 ends have been completed. And I can tell it's Nick Bell. Nick Bell and his partner Jenny Jones who lead Angus Motor and Tio Tarua by 7 shots to 4. So Reid leading Ellis 9 shots to 3. Williams leading Beckham 17 shots to 4. And Nick Bell leading Tio Tarua by 7 shots to 4. And in the feature match down in front of us, it's Kimberley Hemingway and James Williams who are leading Karen De Jong and Peter Shane, all of the Carlton Cornwall Club, by 8 shots to 3 as they hit now one of Karen De Jong to play her last bowl on this, the 8th end. Thanks to Steve Clifton going out and getting those results and updates for us. And we'll be bringing you more updates as well on that. Those other quarterfinals. We'll bring those to you throughout the duration of this match of 16 ends or 2.5 hours. So they change over. Again, I think it's the Williams and Hemingway combination, holding 2 shots. This little scoring spree of 2 singles, a 2 and a 2. So 6 shots over 4 ends. Just took them to a little buffer of 8 to 3. So James Williams now add to that on his backhand. Is Williams playing up towards the western end, or Pakuranga City end, here at the Howick Bowling Club, as Kimberly Hemingway coaxing this bowl in towards the head, needs to get past the Karen de Jong bowl, and does. An indication from Karen de Jong was that counted that particular bowl. So Peter Shane now will come down, follow that down on what is his forehand on the draw, definitely down on the head. And one bowl, remembering, sitting right on the jack, looks as though it's going to just hang by on that wider side, and it does. In fact, just gets a touch on the Karen de Jong bowl. So here will be James Williams, the left-hander, on his backhand, endeavouring to add to the count, definitely holding. Indication was 3 shots. He's following this bowl up as James Williams, but is it going to hold up long enough? He doesn't want to disturb anything. In fact, sits on the shot bowl toucher. That's making it hard for Peter Shane now. He may be able to see the jack on the forehand. Don't think so. And I think Shane's looking at that forehand weighted shot to try and has to get to the jack, of course, has to get past the front bowls. But no, now electing to go along with Karen de Jong's decision and endeavour to draw, reduce the count on the forehand. He's chasing this bowl. Peter Shane definitely got a narrower line towards the jack line with this bowl. Trying to pull it over, get the move over is Karen de Jong. Played with more weight. In fact, just pushed the other bowl into the head. And we'll have a count up here, but this is a big number. So they've taken 4 out, 5. Looked like 5 shots. If it was 5, which it looked as though it was, it is 5. I just see Kimberly Hemingway indicating the same. So that's now 13-3. 13-3 to Kimberly Hemingway, and James Williams, after now in the last 5 ends, have actually picked up 11 shots. At end 4, it was all locked up at 3-all. We've then seen that 2 singles, 2 twos and a 5, which is now taking the Hemingway-Williams side out to a 13-3 lead in the 16 ends or 2.5 hours quarterfinal. And quickly again back around the greens in the other quarterfinals match. Alex Reid leads Andy Ellis by 9 shots to 3 after 9 of 16 ends. Colin Williams leads Bevan Beckham by 17 shots to 4 after 8 ends. And Nick Bell, after 6 ends, leads Tia Tarua by 7 shots to 4. And, of course, at the end of this round as well, we will bring you the results of the plate, which has also been played out here at present, quarterfinal of the plate. But pretty handy break here to the Hemingway and Williams side. And the difference has been, and Karen de Jong draws a toucher on the run through. I think the biggest thing has been that Karen de Jong hasn't able to have been as effective, still playing well, but not as effective as she was in those earlier ends. And Hemingway and Williams have been able to capitalise on that. So here now is Kimberly Hemingway, former New Zealand age group player. Far short ahead. And needs to sit down on the Karen de Jong bowl. Just going to go by past the Karen de Jong bowl. So quarterfinals, of course, this morning, and then we'll be bringing you live from this afternoon the semi-finals and finals of the Auckland Bowls Ryman Healthcare 242 Mixed Fours Finals Day. And Karen De Jong again, another good bowl, just sits on her own bowl, which in fact, of course, is shot. And they'll change over, holding 2 shots. Will the De Jong and Shane combination, trailing 13 shots to 3. Of course, both De Jong and Shane, very, very experienced players. Shane, winner of 4 New Zealand titles, and Karen De Jong, winner of numerous Auckland titles. James William, the hard-working greenkeeper at the Carlton Cornwall Club, has certainly had his hands full over the last 10 days. See, watch this bowl of Williams trying to draw to the jack, and he draws a front toucher. Well played by James Williams, the hard-working greenkeeper, as he was last week with those very trying conditions, especially on Friday on finals day, that's for sure. So here now is Peter Shane trying to change the head around. James Williams now was trying to put more pressure, and is going to finish jack level. He'll be happy with that. Will James Williams be? Peter Shane now trying to get down to the shot bowl of Jack playing with weight. On the drive is Shane, one of his favourite shots, trying to get the shot bowl, gets the shot bowl, turns it over, just goes back though towards the Kimberley Hemingway bowl, which was sitting at the back of the head, and still 1 to the Hemingway and Williams combination. Got the target, did Peter Shane, but just ran the jack back into the bowl of Kimberley Hemingways. Now here is James Williams on there. It's that stoops down, hunches over, following his bowl. Needs to get inside these Karen De Jong bowls. Gets, in fact, a feather off the outside bowl. And it's another bowl on the head, of course, for the Hemingway-Williams combination. Now, Peter Shane, is he committed again to play with that weight to get, and he's playing again with searching weight to try and get down to the Kimberley Hemingway bowl, which is shot bowl. He's close to getting that result. Goes by, gets nothing. James Williams changed his hand and pulled up short of the line. I'm sure Peter Shane again will play with searching weight, virtually committed to that shot. And that's exactly what he's doing, playing with that same sort of weight again to get down to what is the shot bowl, the bowl of Kimberley Hemingways. And again, I see Kimberley Hemingway bend over, picking it up. That means it's gone by. So it's the Hemingway-Williams combination who holding shot at first and third and fourth shot. So just need to be a wee bit careful to the Shane combination, because if the Karen De Jong bowl was to pop out of the head, they would definitely be at least 3 down. So need a bit of caution here on the attack as the De Jong Shane side, trailing 13 shots to 3 as we play in 9 of 16. Here's now Kimberley Hemingway on the draw, on the forehand. Looking closely at it. It's on a good line. James Williams pretty keen on it as well. Now coming back inside the centre line. And as we said earlier, you just need that extra yard of weight on that ditch hand. He'll just pull up across the head. So De Jong on the forehand is endeavouring, I would say, she would endeavour De Jong to still dislodge that shot bowl. They've been attacking all the way now to try and get rid of it. So will they keep doing so or be more prudent? And that looks to be the case now, because Peter Shane obviously realised that if they're off target and get their own bowl out of the head, now looking on the backhand, trying to get down to the shot bowl, and goes by. It was just definitely a safe drive on the backhand down through there. Then the forehand, is certainly a chance of getting your own bowl, which is second shot on the backhand though, but De Jong just played. Your bowl is more protected. James Williams looking closely at this bowl. Looks pretty quick though as it comes by. Might get the jack, and it does. Goes all the way back. It was going at 222 miles an hour as it went past and grabbed the jack. And that's disappeared right down towards the back. There's plenty of room now though for Karen De Jong to draw the shot for one. Jack's in the ditch. You'll see Peter Shane putting the yellow marker there. Definitely two shots at this stage to Kimberly Hemingway and to James Wilson, and Peter Shane, you'll see, indicating to Karen De Jong, draw to here. Not the easiest shot to play on these quicker running greens. On the forehand is De Jong. Looks pretty, going to be under the line though. It will be under the line. That'll be another two to the Hemingway-Williams combination from where I'm sitting. We'll see if they agree. At least two, might be three, but so it looks like called for the umpire to look. Not sure, looking at the second shot or whatever, definitely one anyway. And here we are through the plate. I can tell you that Brendan Kelly up against Paul Steer. 8 ends gone in that game. Brendan Kelly leading that match by 9 shots to 6. Dave Akara and Philly Akara up against Sam, virtually a club game there. And it is 13-3 to Dave Akara over Sam Taloki, the president of Royal Oak, and Remus Strickland after 9 ends. It is Nick Krajanchik, the Carlton Cornwall club, who's playing David Maka, and it is Maka that's leading 11 shots to 8 after 9 ends. And in the last game, it's Phil and Sandra Taylor of Bridge Park in Auckland playing against the New Lynn combination of Laura and Ramesh, and it is 9-7 to Phil and Sandra Taylor after 11 of the 18 ends. Umpires have been called here. You'll see the big measures out. And go to the Karen De Jong bowl, and now they'll come around to the Kimberly Hemingway bowl. The Hemingway bowl looks to me to be it's on a straight line to the jack. Jared Holst, the umpire, and don't know what the story was. I think it was 2. Indication is it was 2. And that's now 15-3. James Williams and Kimberly Hemingway leading Karen De Jong and Peter Shane after 9 of 16 ends. And I can tell you in those other matches, Alex Reid leads Andy Ellis after 9 ends. He leads by 9 shots to 3. Colin Williams up against Bevan Beckham. And after 8 ends, it is Colin Williams leading 17 shots to 4. And Teo Terua versus Nick Bell. And after 6 ends have been completed, it is Nick Bell who is leading Teo Terua by 7 shots to 4. And as I said, in this game, it is now 15-3. Hemingway and Williams after 9 of 16 ends. As the first bowl of James Williams slides by past that centre line by a couple of metres, metre and a half, as they're now playing up towards the Pakuranga or city end here. Just responding to my morning text from the CEO of Port New Zealand.
Yep, absolutely.
No, he's not checking up on me really. And of course, in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks' time, Tamara and myself and Brenda Van Nistelrooy, we will be in New Plymouth, Taranaki, and we'll be bringing you the finals of the Taranaki Open Fours. Certainly looking forward to that. As I see Peter Shane draw the shot, actually right in front of the jack, trailing 15 shots to 3 is Karen de Jong and Peter Shane as they change over. And Kimberly Hemingway, of course, will be playing first. And it is, in fact, I go right back to the third end is the last time that de Jong and Shane scored. So they're certainly wanting to be back into the scoring spree. Here is now Kimberly Hemingway, just obscured by Peter Shane. So here now, it's Karen de Jong on the forehand. Kimberly Hemingway endeavouring to play up to that shot bowl of Peter Shane's. And here's Karen de Jong bowl. Certainly seen Hemingway and Williams play some big bowls, some conversion bowls, jack movement. Certainly. And James Williams 100% in his call there. Just try and draw, try and play under the head. It would be nice if Peter Shane would actually, we're watching now from the other end. On the draw now is Kimberly Hemingway, and here's the danger that I spoke about as you try and play down through that V and you force yourself under the line, and your bowl on this speed of green will just disappear. And that'll go close to being dead. It is dead from the call from Kimberly Hemingway. So we're just to try and let the bowl do the work, draw to the head. Going to play that sort of shot. You've got to play it with a lot of weight. So as the bowl will hold up, at this point it's far better that Williams and Hemingway literally play the scoreboard as well and get some bowls on the head rather than being vulnerable for Peter Shane to be able to attack and possibly score a number. So Kimberly Hemingway this time on that back end draw, and has more than may well have secured 2 seconds to it now on that's a Karen de Jong bowl out the front. So still only the one bowl vulnerable on the head. So here, Karen de Jong now will play on her backhand. At the sun peak on. Trailing 15 shots to 3, but holding the shot on this head. And has played the bowl out on that wider side on the draw. Just question how far is that going to go with its weight. Coming back to the centre line. Just going to go by the centre line by about a metre. And call again from James Williams. Just drawing up to it. Don't try and steer the bowl under the head because the bowl will just disappear dead under the centre line. On the backhand now is Kimberly Hemingway, former New Zealand age group player. And again, this is going to be under the line. It's a danger, but might get a bit fortuitous, and was a wee bit fortuitous. Got a slide off a front bowl as it was actually moving away from the head. So now Peter Shane indicating to Karen de Jong, draw to cover some bowls at the back, because they're of the opinion, of course, that James Williams is going to attack, whether he will or not. Vulnerable on the head to attack too viciously. And draws another shot, in fact, does Karen de Jong, draws around the bowl of James Williams and will make shot of it. Now the shot now, of course, for James Williams is just really to play on the draw, to turn the Kimberly Hemingway bowl into the head. No sense in trying to risk too much here. Play the board, you can't score on every end. And dropping a 1 here is not really the end of the world. It's another end gone. There'd be 10 ends gone. So here now is Peter Shane. And he'll be trying to promote. That was Kimberly Hemingway bowl. They promoted. So May elect to play the other hand now. May Williams to come down underneath. 2 down is the call from Kimberly Hemingway. And indicating to James Williams, try and reach a bowl. So on the backhand is James Williams, not really going near the head. So Peter Shane on the search. On the drive. Certainly going to get contact with something here. Gets the front bowl. Jack goes back as well. And I think it'll be one shot to, I'm looking right to the far right, or it might be one to Karen de Jong, the bowl. This could be the umpire again coming with the big tape to have a look at these bowls. Umpire's the call. A long way out. And we're upstairs looking here. To me, it looks like the Karen de Jong bowl to me is the shot bowl, which appears to be in a straight line to the jack. We'll wait to see what Jared Holst, the umpire, has to say, but certainly the Karen de Jong bowl is definitely on a straight line to the jack, which one would normally favour. As we come to the end of the 10th of 16 ends, or 2.5 hours. So firstly going to the Karen de Jong bowl, which is the black bowl. Umpire on his knees, making sure that Peter Shane has got the tip of the measure sitting on the jack. Pulls out the long string measure, takes it all the way back. And onto the tightening the string. And we'll now come round to the side here. Careful, Gerald, don't tip over. Oops. So, in fact, it was the Kimberly. It was another one to the Hemingway Clark Williams combination. Going in favour of them. Steve Clifton doing a great job here on the water. So it's 16-3 now. 16-3 after 10 of 16 ends. And as I said, we go back and I hadn't scored. The last time the Shane combination scored, in fact, was on the third end. So it's certainly been a great scoring spree by the combination of Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams. And as we're coming up just under the 2 hour mark, remember 16 ends or 2.5 hours. So Now starting to get to the critical stage of scoring. And don't forget, of course, you go to the Auckland Bowls website. Just go to the Auckland Bowls website and you can watch the live action. All the live action on the Auckland Bowls website and any other platforms that may be available. So Jack's been delivered right to the 2 metre mark, and you'll see the opening bowl of Kimberly Hemingway, literally right on the jack. Great start by the young lead. Karen DeJong bowl, that's gone way lower the jack. So here is now Kimberly Hemingway with her second bowl of first 2 bowls on this, the 11th of 16 ends. And another pretty good opening bowl, a metre lower the jack, but certainly with one sitting right behind the jack, you can't get them much better than that. Certainly been impressive has the young lead-off player, Kimberly Hemingway, of course, I say former New Zealand age group player. And in but a few moments, we'll get a further update on the main event. It's the last update we had, of course, was Alex Reid leading Andy Ellis 9 shots to 3. Colin Williams leading Bevan Beckham 17 shots to 4. And Nick Bell leading Te Aotearoa by 7 shots to 4. We'll bring you another update shortly. And the race to the 16 end, we see the first bowl of James Williams just lower the jack. Peter Shane now on the backhand, trying to draw down to the Kimberly Hemingway bowl. Looks to be racing by on the outside with weight, and it is. It's on the fly, in fact. And we'll go towards the ditch, and does do. 16-3 it is now, Hemingway and Williams leading. Been a real rout over this last 7 ends. 3 lots of 2, a 5 and 3 singles. As we watch this bowl of James Williams get down towards the jack, gets a touch on the jack, just moves out to the side. Two shots. I see that Jenny Stockford match. I thought that something had been a result there, but there hasn't been. My apologies. So James Williams again now, leading 16-3. Good bowl from Peter Shane, though. Has rescued the situation on the head. He's going to sit on the bowl here as James Williams just goes by, had the weight to do so, or sit the jack. Peter Shane again now deciding which hand to play on his forehand. Needing to score as well. Looks to be on a good line, this second bowl of Peter Shane's. Doesn't want to get the jack, though. Doesn't want to get the jack, and does. And moves it directly across. Slid under the head, was narrow on the line. Got the back of the jack, moved it across to what was the James Williams bowl. And they'll be now laying holding 2 shots, Will Williams and Hemingway. So here is, again, James Williams trying to draw inside the line. Looks as though he's just going to be outside the line. Ran into his own bowl, did so. I'm sure we'll see Shane now. He'll try and get to the jack. We might see him. Karen DeJong mentioned 1 shot to him. Peter said, no, I'll play another shot, which I can see that's going to be with weight, trying to get to the jack. That's for sure, trying to get the jack in the ditches. Peter Shane looks to be get down to the shot bowl, gets the front bowl, runs onto another, and we'll finish up his second shot. I'd call a wee bit of a fortuitous second shot, actually, because it ran into about 3 bowls to arrive there. And the problem, of course, now for the Peter Shane combination is they've only really got 2 bowls on the head. But the board is the favour of Hemingway and Williams, and they can just draw again to the head, which is, I'm sure, what James Williams will be endeavouring to do, holding the shot. And here is now Kimberly Hemingway on her backhand, holding one shot as we come to the back of end 11. Holding the shot and looks to be on a pretty good line. This bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's is going to get inside the Peter Shane bowl. No, it's not. It's just going to sit outside it, but that's another bowl on the head, and they won't be complaining about that. And here's another update I can give you, thanks to Steve Clifton, from the boards around in the main event in the other 3 quarterfinals. Karen de Jong wants to be careful here. She can jar her own bowl right out of the head and get nothing, and just done that, 3 down. So danger of driving with 1 bowl on the head. Got her own bowl out clean. Peter Shane shaking his head. Well, so we'll just wait till the end of this head, and then I'll give you these other updates from the other 3 quarterfinals, which are working their way down the boards now. As we watch this last bowl, Bob Hemingway's coming back towards the centre line. Going to finish right on the centre line. And now the indication from Peter Shane to Karen de Jong, change your hand, try and get down to the jack. I don't think Karen de Jong wants to play that shot. There's some discussion, deliberation on the mat. So Karen de Jong going to play her forehand, trying to reach down towards the jack or the shot bowl. And this is going to go under the hole, get nothing. It'll be another 3 to the Hemingway-Williams combination. Takes him to 19-3 now. 19-3 after 11 ends. Remembering, after 4 ends, we were locked up at 3 apiece. 4 ends, it was 3 all. And now we have seen the Hemingway-Williams combinations go on a scoring spree, scoring 16 shots over the last 8 ends. And we're right on the block now of 11 o'clock, so we've been going 2 hours, so there's only half an hour to go before the bell will strike, or we'll run out of ends. Half an hour to go. I don't think they would get to 16 ends here. With half an hour to go, they've still got 5 ends to play. So round the boards in the other quarterfinals, Nick Bell and Tio Teroa. 10 ends gone, and it's all locked up at 9 all. 9 all, Nick Bell and Tio Teroa. Colin Williams up against Bevan Beckham, and it's Colin Williams. Colin Williams playing, of course, with Tessa Farley. They're leading Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen by 19 shots to 6. 19 shots to 6 after 11 of the 16 ends. Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. And there's Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford, who are leading by 13 shots to 5 after 12 ends. And James Williams and Kimberly Hemingway leading 19 shots to 3. 19 shots to 3 after we've played 11 of 16 ends, or 2.5 hours. And we're right on the 2-hour mark now. So any comebacks have got to be starting right now for any of these sides who are behind. And this afternoon, of course, the semi-finals, the winner of the Stockford-Ellis game will play the winner of the Williams-Beckham game, and the winner of this feature match, Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams, against Peter Shane and Karen de Jong. They'll play the winner of Angus Moto and Tio Teroa and Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. So we'll have semi-final action this afternoon as scripts change over now to play the 4 bowls, and it'll be Kimberly Hemingway to play her first bowl on this, the 12th of 16 in the quarterfinals of the Auckland Bowls. Ryman Healthcare 242 pairs. Quarterfinal time here at the picturesque Howick Bowling Club. So look out, not a ripple out there in the Gulf. Absolutely calm as a lake out there as I look over towards Waiheke and I see Kimberly Hemingway draw the shot down in front of the jack, lower the jack. Peter Shane saying to Karen de Jong, well, get on your backhand down through here, see if you can draw underneath that shot bowl. And looks to be on a good line to the jack, just going by with weight. Just the one down is Peter Shane and Karen de Jong, just the one down on this, the 12th in, as we see Hemingway play her second bowl of 4 on this, the 12th in. Looks as though it might dip under the line slightly, and it does. You'll see it now move across the centre line and move away from the head. Now, on the backhand, again, Karen de Jong will endeavour to try and reach the jack, turn the shot bowl over. And I can tell you in the plate event, it is Brendan Kelly, 13, leading Paul Starr, 13-7 after 11 ends. 13-7 to Brendan Kelly over Paul Starr. Phil and Sandra Taylor up against Ramesh and Laura. And it is the Taylors that are leading that by 10-8 after 13 ends. David Akarua up against Sam Talogi. And it's Dave Akaroa that's leading that game by 16 shots to 5 after 11 ends. And Nick Krajancic from the Carlton Cornwall Club up against Dave Marker of New Lynn. And it's Dave Marker after 12 ends, who's leading by 14 shots to 10. So, another shot being drawn here by Kimberly Hemingway right behind the jack. Peter Shane saying to Karen de Jong, you've got to draw up here on the back end. They're running out of ends. So on the plate, it is Brendan Kelly leading Paul Starr 13-7 after 11 ends. Phil and Sandra Taylor leading 10-8 after 13. David Akaroa leading 16-5 after 11. And David Marker leading 14-10 after 12 ends. So 2 shots to Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams. And again, Karen de Jong looking for that backhand search with weight, because having to score is the Peter Shane, Karen de Jong combination, trailing 19-3. And de Jong electing to be on the more conservative draw side rather than trying to rush at the head with weighted shots and not getting anywhere. So what she's really saying to Peter Shane, I'll try and draw. That one got the teapot from Peter Shane as it disappeared under the head, narrow, and right out to the side. And the object here, of course, for James Williams and Kimberly Hemingway, just leave the head alone and draw out to right to the side here. Just match the bowls around the place so as there's not scoring opportunities for the opposition as they'll play their last 2 ends on this end 12 of 16 at Auckland Bowls. Ryman Healthcare 242 mixed pairs, and thank you to Ryman Healthcare, major sponsor of this event and a major sponsor for Auckland Bowls. They do a wonderful job supporting does Ryman Healthcare. As we see James Williams now, he's going to just draw out to the side. There's no need for him to go near the head at all. So Peter Shane will play that search and find shot on the backhand, trying to get down to the counting bowls or the jack. On its way on the backhand is Shane with his first bowl. I was last 2 on the end of this end 12. That's going to go under the head. That's not going to do anything. 2 shots being held by Hemingway and Williams, running out of ends as the de Jongs Shane combination. So I'm sure James Williams again, he'll go nowhere near the head, that's for sure. He'll stay on that back end and stay out on the wider side of the head. No need for him to go anywhere near it, really. Make Peter Shane play the shot. Don't give him a shoulder on that forehand side. And going by past the centre line. And now Peter Shane playing his last bowl on this, the 12th, in trailing 19 shots to 3. It's on its way. Doesn't look that confident. I would look though. This is on a better line. This is on a better line to the jack. Might get the hole though. Get nothing. Moves the jack across the side of the ring and directly to where James Williams' bowl was. And that'll be a 1 to the Williams-Hemingway combination. And that takes them now out to 20 to 3. 20 to 3 they now lead after 12 of these 16 ends. It's certainly been a convincing display by the greenkeeper and the young former New Zealand age group player Kimberly Hemingway. 20 to 3 after 12 of 16 ends here in the quarterfinals of the Ryman Healthcare Auckland Bowls mixed pairs. And as you say, you just got to go to the Auckland Bowls website and go on there and you'll be able to watch all of this live action right throughout the day. And we'll be bringing you the semi-finals this afternoon, whoever they may be. Another very good opening bowl by Kimberly Hemingway. In fact, draws a toucher, front toucher. Just rolls alongside, sits alongside it. Great bowl from Kimberly Hemingway, who's been pretty impressive. Good response here from Karen de Jong, just going by the jack. Very good response from the first bowl of this, the 13th end. So Kimberly Hemingway with the front with a toucher. See, she's enjoying this. Yep. Following closely the second bowl, where she'll be endeavouring to get past into the centre line. That's where James Williams wants it. That's exactly where she's gone to. And as I said just earlier, in the main event, we can see that, as I say, 10 ends. Nick Bell and Teo Tera locked up 9 apiece after 10 ends. Colin Williams leading Bevan Beckham 19-6 after 11. Alex Reid leading Andy Ellis 13-5 after 12 ends. So the skips change over to play their 4 bowls now in the second lot of bowls that'll be played here. And beautiful conditions here at the Howick Bowling Club. Absolutely perfect conditions. Great summer's day here as we watch James Williams now play his first of 4, breaking down towards the head. And it's going to just sit by and sit back and behind the jack. That'll count. Sure, we'll see Peter Shane very early on the search, trying to get down to there on the forehand, trying to get down to the Kimberly Hemingway, touch a bowl. And now a good bowl from James Williams. There's a great attempt here from Shane. It's on the arc to the jack, and he gets the jack cleanly. Well played, that bowler. Peter Shane just got that neat touch on the jack and moved it across to the Karen de Jong bowl. Now the big thing is for these people, the Williams combination. It's not trying anything heroic here. It's another end gone. He's on the run trying to get the bowls. In fact, he might just run into the Karen de Jong bowl in the front of the head, and that's all it does. And leaves him holding 2 shots. And he's going to play it that kills the option, because that's another end gone, and just clocks away at the time as well. Peter Shane And Karen de Jong holding 2 shots but trailing by 20-3. And this bowl of Peter Shane's just 2 is the call from just 2 down was the response from Kimberly Hemingway. So James Williams will more than likely attack again. Oh, he's on the draw. That's sensible. Get another bowl on the head. Especially you're leading by 20-3, and they're playing the 13th of 16 ends, and this bowl's going to come back towards the centre line, be third shot, sit right in behind it, and that sort of makes it more difficult for the Shane de Jong combination to build a good scoring head for them. As we watch this third bowl of Peter Shane's, looks on the wider side out of the hand, coming back now towards the centre line, and the Williams bowl, but it's going to go by with a metre of weight. Peter Shane sort of saying, well, how did it go there? Well, it went there because that was the weight that was on it. So here now is James Williams again on the forehand. He's chasing this bowl up the rink, leading 20-3 as we play in 13 of 16 of this quarterfinal. And that's another good shot, third shot from James Williams, making it harder for Peter Shane and Karen de Jong to build a good hit up to score. Here now is Shane on his backhand as the skips will change over and play their last 2 bowls at the completion of the 13th end. And this is on the wide side. So skips change over. And don't see a lot of sense in attacking with weight, perhaps to play just on the draw down there for Kimberly Hemingway. She gets a touch on the front bowls. The jack could move back to where those 2 very good third shots are sitting of James Williams. So here is Kimberly Hemingway now going to the mat. And that looks as though what Kimberly Hemingway's endeavouring to play on that forehand. Playing with that reaching weight to split the bowls. We'll get a movement on the jack. She's going to get something as the young player. She does. What a magnificent shot. Takes the 2 bowls out cleanly. Pushes them right out of the head. And from where I'm sitting, that leaves them holding 4 shots. Magnificent bowl from Kimberly Hemingway, that's for sure. On the backhand is Karen de Jong trying to save the situation on this, the 13th end. Magnificent bowl from the young former Waikato player. And this bowl's going to go by. This bowl of Karen de Jong go past. So this could be literally, misses this, would make the task, well, the task is very, very difficult now, of course, for Peter Shane and Karen de Jong. That would make it literally impossible. You see, I'll go by there of Kimberly Hemingway, and full marks the way they've played this head. They've played it, managed the head very, very well. We saw James Williams get a couple of close bowls, third shots, which enabled Kimberly Hemingway to attack the head. Peter Shane looking closely at this bowl as it breaks down towards the head on the draw. Needs to come back all the way to get the shot bowl. Great bowl by Karen de Jong. 4 down on the head and has drawn the shot. That'll be a 1. And that, in fact, is the first time that they've been able to score after 10 ends. It was 3-2 to de Jong and Shane after 3-2 after 3 ends, 3 of 16. And now, as we complete end 13, it is 20-4 to Williams and Hemingway. And as we come to the 2 1/4 hour mark now, time is of May well be the killer. Jack's been delivered literally right to the 2 metre mark. Superb draw shot though from Karen de Jong. And as we said in those other matches, leading in the other quarterfinal matches is Alex Reid over Andy Ellis, Colin Williams over Bevan Beckham, and Tiro Turua was all locked up. That game against Nick Bell. So good opening bowl here from Peter Shane. Draws a front toucher and right, just moves the bowl off the centre line. Well played by 4 times New Zealand title holder Peter Shane. So here now is James Williams, 1 down on the head, obviously with that touch of Shane. His bowl is narrow across the line. Peter Shane now, he'll continue on that backhand side as we playing up towards the western end, Pakuranga City end, here at the Howick Bowling Club as we play in 14. James Williams again now on the forehand, scoop delivery that the Carlton greenkeeper's got, but that's going to be under the line. Kimberly Hemingway will now, and Karen de Jong will make their way to the other end, and we've certainly seen Hemingway play some really big bowls in the back end of this game. Been outstanding as the young former Waikato player, former New Zealand development age group player. There's perfect conditions here at the Howick Bowling Club. And the plate, my plate scores have gone away. Steve must have those. He'll come back with them in about a moment. And Karen de Jong playing her first bowl of 4 on this, the 14th end, trailing by 20 shots to 4. Looks to be on a good line. It's going to come under the centre line though, and will sit on the Peter Shane bowl. So good head here. Kimberly Hemingway, she'll be determined to get second shot. That'll be her objective with her first 4 bowls. She won't be worrying to get the shot itself. Be happy with second shot as we watch her bowl now break towards the head. Arcing now under the centre line, needs to sit inside these bowls. In fact, it's going to sit on the outside of the De Jong Shane bowls, who are holding 3 shots at this point. So Karen de Jong again now on the backhand. Endeavour to add to the count. Kimberly Hemingway, her main goal is to try and get the second shot on a good line, on a good arc as this bowl of Karen de Jong's as it runs towards the head now. Not sure it's got the weight to count, needs a metre of weight. So Kimberly Hemingway now will be endeavouring to get second shot on the backhand. It's on its way is the second of 4 bowls. Is Kimberly Hemingway. She likes this bowl as this breaks down towards the head. Here's the weight, got to get past the De Jong bowl, not going to, needs a metre of weight. Still be at least 3 that De Jong and Shane would be holding. So here now Karen de Jong playing her 3rd bowl, and she'll stay on that backhand side. Bit of cloud cover in here now at Howick, and this bowl of Karen de Jong's just going to go by slightly just past the centre line or the 2 metre mark. Imperative here that Kimberly Hemingway, definitely 3 down, can draw a second shot just to reduce the numbers as we come to the end of end 14. This is on a better line, this bowl of Kimberly Hemingway's. James Williams likes this bowl as it breaks towards their head. This is going to make a difference, and Julie does. That second shot sits right in behind the jack. That's what they needed. They can afford to drop 1, that's for sure. Karen de Jong now trying to add to the count. Good bolt here from Karen de Jongs. Will more than likely make 2 of it, I would say. So is Kimberly Hemley going to? We're going to change her hand and try and no. Let's stay on the conservative side and play back down that backhand side. More than likely 2 down as we come to the last of the 4 bowls each from Hemingway and de Jong on the end 14 of 16. And just see how far this bowl gets back. There's a lovely bowl from the youngster. It'll fall in, but behind the head. That I'm picking his second shot. It is second shot. Of course, the problem with Peter Shane is that only score 1 on this end. They got the 15 behind with 2 ends to go. And we're going to say it's impossible. I'm never going to say it's impossible. Is it challenging? Very challenging. So the mat's up, been pulled up. Peter Shane desperately trying to build to the count, playing with weight. Wants to be careful here. We give the shot away with that. So just the 1. It was Colin Williams who's out here playing as well. Was one of the band of helpers very much last week at the Nationals, along with Alex Reid, who was the chart room, who was virtually the tournament, one of the tournament managers, did a wonderful job, especially in those trying conditions. And Colin Williams, the tech man, did a great job. The bowler James Williams just got hung up on the way through. So Peter Shane again, I think he'll endeavour to try and chip trying to kill it. I'm not sure what he's actually trying to do, but got nothing. So James Williams, I think he'll accept we're 1 down. We're going to endeavour to try and on the backhand to draw the jack off what is the shot bowl. Looks to be on a fairly good line to get down to the jack. Is it going to get under the bowl though? It is, just slips under the bowl and will be 1. I see. At shake hands time, 1's certainly not enough. Shake hands time. A 1 to Karen de Jong and Peter Shane. And that takes us now 14 ends completed and game completed at 20 shots to 5 in favour of Kimberly Hemingway and James William. They've defeated Karen de Jong and Peter Shane, and that will see Hemingway and Williams through to the semi-final this afternoon. And they'll play the winner of the Angus Moto Tiri Teroa versus Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. They'll play the winner of that. Other quarterfinals that are underway, of course, sees us with Colin Williams and Tessa Farley up against Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. Our last crossover, the Williams and Farley were leading Beckham and Jensen. Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. And it was Stockford and Reid who were leading those that particular game. And I think Steve Clifton just ducked out to have a look. So before we leave you in this quarter-final round, we'll try and get an update from those other boards and we'll give you those progress scores. But a convincing win here to James Williams and Kimberly Hemingway over de Jong and Peter Shane. As I say, it was 3-all after 3 ends. And then the next time that the Shane de Jong combination scored, the Hemingway and Williams combination had jumped out to a 20-3 lead, 20-3, and then they had 2 1s, did Shane and de Jong on the ends 13 and 14, and that wasn't enough. 16 ends or 2.5 hours, of course, is the time limit, and they just simply were outclassed by the drawing ability of Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams, the greenkeeper of the Carlton Cornwall Club. And our thanks, of course, to Ryman Healthcare, the sponsor of this 242 Pairs. And Steve Clifton is just getting those results for us now, and they'll be back with us, and we'll update you, and then we'll leave you, and we'll be back this afternoon. Tomorrow, myself, Steve, and Mike Nada will be back with the semi-final and final action this afternoon. And I'll have someone here at some stage in the commentary with me as well, as we come to the conclusion of this Ryman Healthcare 242 Piers. And just talking to Alex Reid down there now, because we see Alex Reid was leading in that particular quarter-final on the last count. Steve will be back in a second, and he'll give us all the results. And of course, if you want to watch this afternoon, or your friends want to watch anything, anyone wants to have a look, just go to the Auckland Bowls website, and they can watch all the live action, bowls by bowl by bowl, semi-final and finals. And of course, I had hoped to have, well, no, that's unfair. My backup man was Alex Reid, who was looking as though a position in the semi-finals wasn't that far away. So he may well have defaulted on me. So Steve Clifton now is making his way back. I can see Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford just leaning on the scoreboard. Their game's come to an end. I'm not going to preempt anything, but they did have a comfortable lead. So I'm working on that assumption that they have held on to that lead. So here comes Steve Clifton now, and we'll have the result of the game of Jenny Stockford and Alex Reid up against Andy Ellis and Lauren Mills. The other main event one is Colin Williams, Tessa Farley, Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen, and that game is certainly getting down the board as well. And the one that was real close was the Agnes Motu Teo Tarua game against Nick Bell and Jenny Jones. And we'll have that in just a second. I know he's on his way back up the stairs. So just to repeat, that our feature match this morning saw the combination of Kimberly Hemingway and James Williams up against that of Peter Shane and Karen de Jong, and it was the Hemingway-Williams combination that ran out the winners by 20 shots to 5. And virtually all the quarterfinals now are coming to a close. I don't know where he's got to with those scores. Our apologies for holding you up there. Well, certainly, as soon as I can get them, we'll bring them to you. And it looks as though the Colin Williams match, Colin Williams and his partner Tessa Farley up against Wendy Jensen and Bevan Beckham. And it looks like to me that that's a win to Williams and Farley. They were comfortably in front, but here he comes now, so I can confirm literally all those results for you. So in the main event, I can tell that Alex Reid and Jenny Stockford, they beat Andy Ellis and Laura Mills 20 shots to 5. Colin Williams and Tessa Farley 22-7 over Bevan Beckham and Wendy Jensen. And Teo Taroa and Agnes Motu are now leading Nick Bell and Jenny Jones by 18 shots to 9. That game hasn't yet finished, but must be. They've played 14 ends. I'm not going to surmise, but I just about could. In the plate, I can tell you that Brendan Kelly and Robin Rehana, they are leading Paul Starr and Gail Clark by 17 shots to 11. Phil and Sandra Taylor are winners, 17-11 over Laura and Amis Rahman by 17 shots to 11. Dave and Philly Akaroa have beaten Sam Taloki and Rima Strickland by 18 shots to 7. Nick Krajanchik and Dashana Jarasinka have gone bit down to Dave Marker and Denise Samuels by 17 shots to 15. That's in the plate. So we'll be back this afternoon and we'll bring you live semi-final action. And the semi-final that we'll be bringing you will be the Jenny Stockford Alex Reid match up against Colin Williams and Tessa Farley, and then of course we'll bring you the live action of the finals later on this afternoon. This is Kevin Hicklin, Tamara Stevens and Mike Nata signing off, and we'll be back this afternoon from the Ryman Healthcare Auckland Bowls 242 finals here at the Howick Bowling Club.